Okay, welcome back. This is session 3 of the Exeter campaign using ChatGPT. Let's hop right in. Where we left off, we heard some noises basically. We're in the mines and we heard a noise, some scratching. So right here, faint scratching sound echoes from the deeper down the tunnel, beyond the rubble. I'm thinking that even Kayleen noticed it. I'm thinking that this might be a moment for Brock. He's been kind of on the sidelines, not really getting some spotlight as he should. Mars has been kind of, well, in the last episode, I was using Mars more often. So let's use Brock for this one. Continuing on to session 3, I will have Brock step forward from the team with his weapon ready and say, "It's time for me to smash some heads." Oh, come on. All right, so we have some skill checks. Of course.
Time of day, late morning, around 10:35 a.m. Brock steps forward, his great AXE gleaming faintly in the dim light of the flame-tongue mines. His booming voice echoes off the jagged stone walls, "Time for me to smash some heads. Let them come." The words resonate with a mix of confidence and challenge, shaking the stillness of the tunnel. Kalen smirks but raises a hand to signal caution. "Easy, Brock. Let's make sure you're smashing the right heads, not stumbling into a trap." The faint scratching sound grows slightly louder, coming from deeper down the tunnel. It's accompanied by a faint skittering, as though something, or several somethings, is moving closer. Skill check. Brock or Mars can roll Intimidation, District of Columbia 14, to provoke the creatures into revealing themselves, or Stealth, District of Columbia 13, to attempt a surprise advantage. Let me know your choice and roll.
Okay, so it does that obviously with the secondary voice, DC, that's District of Columbia. That happened in the last episode, and I actually have to make a short about that because I was laughing my ass off. So, let's say that Mars will step in just for a second to use stealth. Okay, so Mars needs a roll stealth. Mars will volunteer to look up ahead using stealth.
Time of day, late morning, around 10:40 a.m. Mars steps forward, placing a hand on Brock's shoulder. "Hold up, big guy.
16.
Let me take a look first. No point rushing in blind." With that, Mars blends into the shadows, moving silently ahead toward the source of the skittering sounds. "Roll for stealth, Mars's dexterity stealth bonus, and let me know the result."
Surprised I haven't. Oh, the DC's right here. I'm like, where's the DC at? So 16. Mars rolled a stealth of 16.
Mars's stealth roll, 16. Mars moves ahead, his footsteps silent against the stone floor, and vanishes into the dim light as if he were part of the shadows themselves. The faint skittering grows more distinct, and as Mars rounds a slight bend in the tunnel, his elven eyes catch sight of the source. About 40 feet ahead, several kobolds are crouched near the walls, setting what looks like a crude spike trap. One of them mutters to the others in Draconic, clearly unaware of Mars's presence. There are 3 kobolds, one of them slightly larger than the others, holding a rusty spear and barking orders. Mars can return to the group with this information or act now. What will he do?
Well, I want to see what items I have. I don't think I have any explosive items of sorts or spells. I actually don't think I've learned any spells yet. Oh no, I have. Cure Wounds, Hunter's Mark. Oh, Hunter's Mark. I'm not mistaken. You magically mark one creature you can see within range as your curry. Until the spell ends, you deal an extra 1d6 damage. Interesting. If your target drops to 0 HP. Um, save that for later. Okay. Druidcraft. Hmm. Interesting. I completely forgot about the spells I had. So let's go back to the team and let them know. Mars will go back to the team and let them know what he saw, specifically the trap and the taller kobold.
Time of day, late morning, around 10:45 a.m. Mars swiftly returns to the group, his steps as quiet as when he left. He relays the situation in a hushed tone. 3 kobolds ahead. One's taller, probably the leader, barking orders. They're setting up a spike trap near the wall. They don't know we're here. Kaelin nods, her expression serious. Good work. That leader might be tougher than the others, and that trap could cause problems if we're not careful. Thrain hefts his shield. We strike before they're ready. Take them down fast. Kaelin looks to Mars and Brock. What's the call? We can ambush them now, disable the trap, or lure them out. Mars, you've seen the setup. What do you think? What's your plan?
What is my plan? Well, if we're in these tunnels, Brock doesn't exactly have much advantage if he's rushing in and he's the only thing that they see coming at them. He can't strike from another direction. It's just that one option we have. Mars can obviously go back, or they can just all strike, rush in. I have some ideas. Let me try this one. Mars will tell Kelleen that if they're setting up traps now, most likely they just recently occupied this tunnel, or they've been having past issues with other adventurers, depending how long they've been here.
Time of day, late morning, around 10:50. Mars leans toward Kaelin, keeping his voice low. If they're setting traps now, it means one of two things. They've only just occupied this tunnel, or they've had issues with other adventurers passing through recently. Either way, they're expecting trouble. Kaelin strokes her chin thoughtfully. Good point. If they're recent arrivals, there could be more of them deeper in. If they've been here a while, they might have reinforced other areas with even nastier traps. She glances at Brock, who stands ready, great axe in hand. This gives us a chance to hit them before they're fully prepared. Mars, can you take out the leader from range? If you land a clean shot, we can rush in before the others have time to react. What will Mars do? Agree to take the shot, suggest an alternative, or prepare for a different approach?
Okay. Mars agrees to take the shot at the leader, so he'll go back where he was before, prepare and fire the arrow at the leader if they are still present. If the leader is still there, that's the thing. It's been what, 10, 15 minutes? I might change.
Time of day, late morning, around 10:55. Mars nods. I'll take the shot. With practiced stealth, he moves back to his earlier position, keeping to the shadows. The kobolds are still in place, the taller leader standing near the trap and barking orders in Draconic. The 2 smaller kobolds are fumbling with the crude spike trap, completely unaware of Mars's presence. Mars draws his longbow, nocks an arrow, and takes aim at the leader. With the target clear, he releases. Roll for attack,
Okay.
1d20 plus 5. Let me know the result.
So what I was about to say before I was rudely interrupted, the time of day feature that I put on to the instructions some time ago, it's good, very informative, but it's getting a little repetitive. I'm going to shorten it. I'm going to compress it down for the instructions. So TOD, and then just not the time exactly, but the time of day, or how should I say it? Well, late morning. I'm trying to figure out what that would be called compared to just the time of day itself. So I could use a time. I'll figure that out after recording this. So that will be my next adjustment for the rules or the instructions. Attack roll. Let's see. We're using our longbow as before. 7, 12. That's probably not enough. Attack roll of 12.
Mars's attack roll, 12. Hit. Mars's arrow flies through the dim air, striking the kobold leader squarely in the shoulder. The creature lets out a pained hiss, stumbling back but staying on its feet. The other kobolds whip their heads around, their trap work abandoned as they frantically search for the source of the attack. The leader snarls something in Draconic, clearly alarmed, but the
7.
element of surprise is still on your side. Damage roll. Roll for damage 1d8 plus 3 and let me know the total.
Roll of 7.
Mars's attack roll, 12. Hit. Mars's arrow flies through the dim air, striking the kobold leader squarely in the shoulder. The creature lets out a pained hiss, stumbling back but staying on its feet. The other kobolds whip their heads around, their trap work abandoned as they frantically search for the source of the attack.
That's the prior response. So it's analyzing, it's doing something for initiative. Yep, there it is. Okay, so we're in combat again.
Initiative order preliminary. 1. Kobold 18-2, Lareth 13-3, Mars your roll needed. 4. Brock your roll needed. 5. Kalen 4. 6. Thrain 2. Roll for Mars and Brock's initiative and let me know their totals to finalize the
All right.
order.
Initiative 9, 14 total. Initiative for Brock 8, 10 total. So Mars 14, Brock 10. Mars 14, Brock 10. Terrible job. Wonder if it actually got it. It did. Okay. Mars 14. Okay, I'm actually glad. Very smart. Brock 10. I guess it is.
Initiative order preliminary. 1. Kobold 18-2,
Oh,
Lareth
so
13.
we'll have to turn that off because it doesn't do the playback when there's code. It looks like Cobalt went first.
Kobold's perception roll, 12.
Okay.
The kobold moves cautiously toward Mars's last known position. Its eyes.
So the Cobalt's reacted first. The leader's snarling commands despite the injury. One rushing toward the shadows, trying to locate Mars, while the other stays near the trap, holding its ground. The leader grips the spear tightly, and its eyes darting as it assesses the situation. Cobalt's actions leader attempts to rally its allies, ready to attack. Cobalt 1 moves towards Mars' last known position, searches for him. Cobalt 2 remains by the trap, holding in position steadily, defensively. Rolling for Cobalt search, perception, fail. Cobalt moves cautiously towards Mars' last known position, its eyes darting frantically, but it fails to spot him in the shadows. It hisses in frustration, waving its dagger defensively. Mars' turn. Mars remains undetected. The Cobalt leader is wounded by standing while the others distracted. What will Mars do? Is the other Cobalt close enough for Mars to use a dagger? What close range weapon do we have? Let's see. We have a short sword. We have the scimitar. It's 1d6 plus 3. They're both about the same, different type of damage, which I don't think the AI is tracking, so it doesn't really matter. I think we'll use the scimitar. If I'm pronouncing that right, probably not. Scimitar. Okay. Is the Cobalt close enough for Mars to use a melee weapon?
Distance check. The kobold searching for Mars is about 15 feet away from him, within range for Mars to close the gap and use a melee weapon on his turn. Mars can draw a melee weapon and engage.
Okay. Mars will draw his scimitar and strike the closest Cobalt. Maybe I'm pronouncing it correctly? I always feel like I'm not. Like scimitar, scimitar. All right.
Mars's turn, scimitar attack. Mars silently draws his scimitar, its curved blade gleaming faintly in the dim light. He closes the distance swiftly and strikes at the unsuspecting kobold searching for him. Roll for attack, 1d20 plus 5 for the scimitar, and let me know the result.
17. Attack roll of 17.
Mars's attack roll, 17. Mars's scimitar slashes through the air with precision, aiming for the kobold's exposed side. The creature barely has time to react. Damage roll. Roll for damage, 1d6 plus 3 for the scimitar, and let me know the total.
Damage of 5. There is something else I can also update the instructions, and that is in terms of combat.
Mars's attack roll, 17. Mars's scimitar.
So while it's doing the coding, what I will do in my instructions, besides the time of day compression, I will also tell the AI
Lareth's attack roll. Miss.
to include HP and AC for each enemy character. Tell you what, I'm going to do that right now before I forget. So I will pause the video and I'll be right back. So the slight advantage of using the projects as the GPT, not using the custom build GPTs, is I can update the instructions that will always affect every chat within that conversation, and you can keep it all organized. And you don't have to start a new chat with the new updated instructions, at least based on my experience, because I tried this before this campaign started, where I had a GPT with D&D with all these instructions. And when I made adjustments halfway down to my test campaign, I couldn't use the update instructions. I had to start a new conversation that it said at the bottom of the screen below the prompt where you type. It said, this uses older instructions, or this uses a prior version of the GPT. Start a new conversation to use the current edition. So just that's food for thought. If you prefer to use the custom GPTs, that's obviously there's strengths to it because it's more isolated. But this one, obviously, in the folders, which is a recent feature that OpenAI has released to the public since their open 12 days of OpenAI last year, December, it's been life-saving for at least for me. It's been very helpful. So let's see now if it includes the compressed time of day later on, probably not now, and the details of the enemies regarding AC, HP, and the initiative order. So let's see where we left off here. I did damage of 5. The creature staggers back, clutching his sword. It's badly hurt, but not dead yet. Because up to this point, HP has been tracked just kind of up in the air. AI just kind of decides when the DM would just kind of decide when the enemy was killed. Now it's Larif's turn, so we have Larif move the position with short bow, taking him to the old bolts, rolling for initiative attack. 10 misses. Okay. There's flies toward the cobalt leader, but clatters almost the. Let's hear it talk about this part here.
Lareth's attack roll, 10. Lareth's arrow flies toward the kobold leader but clatters harmlessly against the rocky wall behind it. The leader hisses in anger, its confidence growing as it dodges the attack. Brock's turn 10. Brock is up. The kobold leader is 30 feet away, the injured kobold near Mars is 15 feet away, and the defensive kobold by the trap is 25 feet away. What will Brock do?
Hmm. Can Brock rush or move just enough up to the leader to take him out or fight him? How much can he move? 30 feet. That is within 30 feet. Okay.
Yes, Brock can rush up to the leader. With a movement speed of 25 feet, Brock can close
With
the 30-foot
enthusiasm, I love
distance
it.
to the kobold leader by using the dash
Oh,
action as
man.
part of his turn. However, since dashing uses his action, he wouldn't be able to attack this turn unless he uses a bonus action, such as activating Rage, if applicable, to prepare for combat. Alternatively,
Rage.
Brock can move
I always forget about
25
that.
feet to get closer to the leader and wait to strike on his next turn, keeping a defensive stance. What would Brock like to do? Dash in aggressively or approach more cautiously?
Let's see. We'll move in within 25 feet of the leader and then use our great axe.
If Brock moves 25 feet, he
Hmm.
will be 5 feet short of reaching the kobold leader to attack
That's
with his
true.
great axe, as the weapon requires melee range. However, if Brock uses a ranged weapon,
Oh,
such as a thrown hand axe or javelin,
I have
he
that.
could attack the leader from that position. Alternatively, Brock could still move into position and hold his action, readying an attack for when the leader comes within range. Would you like Brock to 1.
Okay. We will throw a hand axe at the leader.
Brock's turn, throwing a hand axe. Brock moves within 25 feet of the kobold leader, hefting a hand axe from his belt. With a roar, he hurls the weapon toward the wounded creature. Roll for attack, 1d20 plus 5 for the hand axe, and let me know the result.
16. Attack of 16. Haven't seen any stats yet for the enemies.
Brock's attack roll, 16. The hand axe spins through the air, heading straight for the kobold leader. The creature's eyes widen in panic as the axe closes in.
8.
Damage roll. Roll for damage, 1d6 plus 3 for the hand axe, and let me know the total.
Damage of 8. That's one hand axe gone. Okay.
Brock's attack roll, 16.
Okay, so it's doing its magic. Looks like it's Kalen's turn. Looks like we got the
Brock's
Cobalt
attack
leader.
roll, 16.
We'll use the
Brock's attack roll,
standard.
16.
Okay, oh wow, yeah, it's doing every character right now. There's a big difference between the player characters and us, or in the all the NPCs.
Thrain's.
Okay, let's use the
Brock's damage, 8 total. The hand axe buries itself deep in the kobold leader's chest with a sickening thud. The creature lets out a choked screech before collapsing to the ground, lifeless. The remaining kobolds freeze in terror, their leader's brutal demise shaking their resolve. Kalen grins. Well done, Brock. One less problem to deal with. Kalen's turn, 4. Kalen moves into position and targets the kobold near the trap with her daggers. Rolling for her attacks.
Okay, so it looks like 17 and 22 hit. Rolling for damage. Melee 2 plus the 5 plus 2, 7 total. Slash and near the Cobalt. Creature collapses under the fury of the strikes. That one's dead. Thrain's turn. With only one Cobalt remaining, injured one nearest Mars. Charges forward, shield raised and Warhammer in hand. Swings at the remaining Cobalt, rolling for attacks. 18, not bad. Suppression force still injured Cobalt near Mars. Strength is 5. Warhammer strikes the injured Cobalt near heavy below, sending the creature crumbling to the ground, lifeless heap. Battle's over. Okay.
Brock's damage, 8 total.
Okay, so. Alright, looks like creature comes to the ground, battle is over. Kalen surveys the aftermath, nodding approvingly, efficient. They never stood a chance. The tunnel is now quiet again, save for the faint sound of dripping water deeper within. The crew trapped near their wall remains unfinished. The kobold's bodies lie scattered. Loot the bodies. Let's see. Um, I have an idea. Brock walks up to the leader to loot him and claims his prize as he finished him off, making it known to the others. Mars will loot the other kobolds. Nice. See, I like when he uses code. It gives it just more formality. Interesting. Name error. Okay, so I take that back to an extent. I like when he uses code, but it looks like it's causing some trouble. There we go. I don't take it back. My opinion remains the same. All right. Loot results.
Loot results. Kobold leader, Brock's prize, 8
Okay.
gold coins. a small gem worth 15 gold. Kobold 1, Mars, 5 copper coins, a rusty dagger. Kobold 2, Mars, 4 copper coins, a crude amulet
Small
shaped like a
gem.
lizard. Brock claims the leader's valuables with a triumphant grin, while Mars efficiently picks through the remaining kobolds for anything of use. Kalen chuckles. Looks like they were guarding scraps and trinkets. Let's hope their friends further in are keeping better treasures. The crude trap remains unfinished nearby, and the
Mars.
tunnel stretches deeper into darkness. What will the group do next? Investigate the trap, proceed further, or take another action?
5 copper coins for the first cobalt. And then we'll ignore the dagger. We'll ignore the amulet. We already have one. Cobalt 2, 4 copper coins again. Or 4 more copper coin. Okay. Who's later? Let's see. Yep. Crude trap remains unfinished, then the tunnel stretches deeper into darkness. What will the group make next? Mars wants to look at the trap to see if it's still dangerous, even though unfinished. Looks like the instructions haven't taken an update yet.
Time of day, late morning, around 11 a.m. Mars kneels by the crude spike trap, examining its structure and mechanism closely. The kobolds appeared to have abandoned it before finishing, but there's still a chance it could be partially functional or rigged to trigger by accident. Skill check, roll, investigation, DC 12, to determine if the trap is still dangerous or if it can be safely dismantled. Let me know your roll.
13. Oh, just made it. Investigation roll of 13. Oh,
Mars.
I'm going to refresh the browser because when it does that, it doesn't play automatically. Refreshing usually helps. Okay.
Mars investigation roll, success. Mars carefully examines the crude trap and determines that it was indeed unfinished. While the spikes are in place, the triggering mechanism, a set of tensioned cords and wooden levers, was left incomplete. The trap is not dangerous in its current state unless someone accidentally steps on the spikes themselves. With a bit of work, Mars could fully disable it to ensure it's no threat at all, or even attempt to salvage parts from it for later use. What does Mars do? Disable it completely, salvage parts, or leave it as is?
We'll disable it completely, also informing the team to be careful not to step on it.
Time of day, late morning, around 11:05 a.m. Mars works deftly to dismantle the trap, carefully cutting away cords and removing the tension from the spikes. After a few minutes of effort, the trap is completely harmless. He looks back at the team. It's disarmed, but watch your step just in case. Kalen nods approvingly. Good call. No need to risk anyone getting skewered by accident. The path ahead now lies clear, the tunnel stretching deeper into the darkness. The faint sound of dripping water grows louder, and the metallic tang in the air becomes stronger. What does the group do next? Proceed further, scout ahead, or take a moment to regroup?
Let's see. Brock will ask Kaylin how much farther till we find this item. Brock will?
Time of day, late morning, around 11:10 a.m. Brock, standing tall with his great axe resting on his shoulder, looks to Kalen. How much farther until we find this blasted emberstone? These tunnels aren't exactly cozy. Kalen pulls out her map, squinting at the faded markings in the dim light. If the map's correct, the deeper chambers, the ones where the emberstone is rumored to be, are still at least a couple of hours ahead, and we haven't even reached the heart shaft, the central hub of these mines. Expect more traps and kobold resistance before we get close. Lareth chimes in, checking his shortbow. If they're defending this hard out here, what's waiting for us deeper in isn't going to be friendly. The group stands at a decision point. Proceed cautiously forward to maintain the element of surprise. Let Mars scout ahead again to detect further threats. Push forward quickly, risking noise but saving time. What's the plan?
Mars will say that once again he'll scout ahead, but then Brock will stop him and tell him, "You've had too much fun, it's my turn." And Mars will appear confused. Just some dynamics, some chemistry.
Time of day late morning, around 11. Mars steps forward, bow ready, and says, "I'll scout ahead again. Better safe than..." Brock cuts him off with a hearty chuckle, gripping his great axe tighter. "You've had enough fun skulking in the shadows, Elf. It's my turn now. Let me show these tunnels what a real dwarf can do." Mars furrows his brow, clearly puzzled. "Brock, scouting isn't exactly your style. Are you sure?" Brock grins. "Style? Bah, it's about guts, not style. Stay put. I'll handle this." Kaelin raises an eyebrow, suppressing a laugh as she watches the exchange. "All right, Brock, let's see how your scouting works out." What does Brock do? Charge ahead boldly, move cautiously, or attempt to mimic Mars's stealth? Let me know.
All right, geez, relax. So, sometime I'm just trying to do some comedy with the character here. I think what we'll do, let's see what his stealth is. It's not so good. Yeah, disadvantage. So it's +2, but again, disadvantage. Brock will attempt to mimic what Mars did earlier, though he is wearing heavy armor, so there is disadvantage. Causing trouble here.
Time of day, late morning, around 11:20 a.m. Brock, determined to prove he can handle scouting, crouches slightly and begins to move forward as quietly as his heavy armor allows. The clinking and creaking of his gear echo faintly in the tunnel, but he soldiers on, attempting to emulate Mars's stealthy grace. Skill check. Roll stealth for Brock, at disadvantage due to heavy armor. Roll twice and take the lower result, then let me know the total.
Okay, so one roll. So 10, and then 12. So 10. The lowest roll was 10. There's no DC though.
Brock's stealth roll, 10. Disadvantage. Brock manages to soften his steps somewhat, but the clinking and creaking of his heavy armor are impossible to suppress entirely. His movements echo faintly through the tunnel, alerting anything nearby that someone is coming. As Brock advances about 30 feet ahead, the sound of scurrying grows louder. He spots a faint movement up ahead, several kobold shadows darting between the rocks. It's clear they've noticed the noise but haven't yet attacked, perhaps uncertain about the nature of the threat. Kaelin, watching from behind, facepalms slightly and whispers, "Well, they know we're coming now. What's the call, Brock? Press forward or fall back?" What does Brock do? Engage boldly, fall back to regroup, or prepare to ambush the approaching kobolds?
Brock says while he wields his weapon, "I've got this. Watch and learn." Mars recommends not to pursue without us, but Brock brushes him off. Brock will attack. Jeez. Okay, there's the AC and
Time of
HP.
day, late morning, around 11:25 a.m. Brock grips his great axe and strides forward confidently, his voice echoing down the tunnel. "Watch and learn, Elf. I'll show you how a real dwarf handles this." Ignoring Mars's cautious words, Brock charges toward the shadows ahead, ready to face the kobolds head-on. As he advances, the scurrying intensifies. 3 kobolds leap out from behind the rocks, one armed with a slingshot and the others with jagged daggers. They hiss and chatter in Draconic, clearly emboldened by Brock's lone approach. Combat begins. Kobold, AC 12, HP 5. Kobold 2, dagger. Kobold 3, 12, HP 5. Brock's turn. He reaches the kobolds without issue and is in melee range of the dagger wielders. Does he attack one of them or attempt a different approach? Let me know and roll for his attack.
Okay, so Brock. To attack roll. 20, oh, 21, nice. Okay. Let's see, that's 3. Brock's attack roll is 21. Meanwhile, Mars will tell the others, we gotta help him. He's outnumbered.
Brock's attack roll 21. Brock's great axe arcs through the air with deadly precision, aimed at one of the dagger-wielding kobolds.
6.
The creature barely has time to react as the massive blade comes crashing down. Damage roll for damage, 1d12 plus 3 for the great axe, and let me know the total. Meanwhile, Mars rallies the others. Kaelin nods, already drawing her daggers. He better hope he's as tough as he thinks, she mutters, preparing to move forward. Lareth and Thrain follow quickly behind. What's Brock's damage, and should the rest of the party charge in immediately or maintain their formation?
They'll join. I don't think Brock is just being a little egotistical at the moment. We'll do 6. Damage roll of 6, and the others will join.
Brock's attack roll 21. Brock's great axe.
Okay, so we'll wait till it finishes and then we'll use the other voice. Okay, we have the attack order, or we have
Initiative
the
order.
initiative
1
order.
Kaelin, 22, Lareth, Thrain, 4,
So
Kobolds,
Mars.
9. Mars, your roll needed. Mars, roll for initiative and let me know your total. Then Kaelin will act first.
14, 19. Okay. Mars, roll of 19.
Initiative order. 1 Kaelin, 20.
Okay.
Initiative order. 1 Kaelin. Initiative order. 1 Kaelin.
Sorry about that. Just letting it run through all the characters. Okay, now let's see if it actually plays it.
Final initiative order.
There we go.
Kaelin, 22. Lareth, 19, higher modifier than Mars. Mars, 19. Thrain, 13. Kobolds, 9. Brock, last from previous roll. Kaelin's turn. Kaelin rushes forward, drawing her daggers as she moves into the fray. She targets the wounded kobold that Brock attacked, aiming to finish it off. Rolling for her attack.
Okay, so attack roll 24, dagger strike deadly accuracy, aiming to finish off the wounded kobold. Damage 5 total. Dagger plunges the wounded kobold, silencing it instantly. The creature collapses onto the ground, lifeless. 1 down, she says with a grin, already shifting her focus on the remaining enemies. Lareth's draws his short bow and takes aim at the kobold slinger, which is still positioned in the back, rolling for his attack. Lareth's arrows flies past the kobold's slinger, clattering harmlessly against the stone wall. Okay, so that was a miss. Mars' turn, 25 feet away, and the dagger wielding kobold is 15 feet away. Okay, we'll attack the closer one with our longbow. Okay. Mars will use his longbow for the dagger wielding kobold nearby.
Mars's turn, longbow attack. Mars quickly nocks an arrow, taking aim at the dagger-wielding kobold 15 feet away.
Nice.
His practiced hands move with precision as he lets the arrow fly. Roll for attack. 1d20 plus 5 for the longbow, and let me know the result.
Attack roll of 22.
Mars's attack roll 22. Mars's arrow streaks through the air, aimed at the kobold wielding the dagger. The creature has no time to...
Sorry about that. I had a phone call. I'll
Mars's
restart
attack
that.
roll 22. Mars's arrow streaks through the air, aimed at the kobold wielding the dagger. The creature has no time to react as the arrow finds its mark. Damage roll. Roll for damage. 1d8 plus 3 for the longbow, and let me know the total.
Okay. Five, which is the health of the kobold. Damage of 5.
Mars's attack roll 22. Mars
Okay, so now it's going to go to the others.
Mars's attack roll 22.
It keeps overriding my mute. I'm just getting ready to click it. Okay, still going. Wow. Okay. So Mars deals 5 damage, and it's still there. Okay. Third turn, see the injured kobold charges forward with the warhammer. 12 hit, damage 5. Creature crumbles lifeless. Okay. Kobold's turn. Remaining kobold slinger now alone. Raises attack. Ending a Barak. Uh-oh. It's a hit. Okay, so kobold. How did it know my AC though? 16, which is okay, that is a hit. So Brock takes a hit. All right, so striking Brock, 3 damage. So we got reduced by 3. That's our first damage for this campaign. 3 damage. Okay. Cobalt Slinger's damage, 3 total. Strikes Brock, scraping across the shoulders. Minor wound, but more annoying than dangerous. Brock's turn. Let's see. Brock will attack the kobold that just hit him with broccoli.
Brock's turn. Charge and attack. Brock growls, his eyes narrowing at the kobold slinger. You're going to regret that, Runt.
12.
With a burst of speed, he charges the kobold, raising his great axe high. Roll for attack. 1d20 plus 5, and let me know the result.
Attack roll of 12.
Brock's attack roll 12. Brock's great axe slams downward toward the kobold slinger, the blade aiming to end the creature's desperate fight. Roll for damage.
13.
1d12 plus
Damn.
3, and let me know the total.
Damage of 13. Nice.
Brock's damage 13 total. With a mighty swing, Brock's great axe cleaves cleanly through the kobold slinger. The creature doesn't even have time to cry out before it collapses to the ground, lifeless. The echoes of the battle fade, leaving only the faint dripping of water and the crackling tension of the now still tunnel. Kalen steps forward, giving Brock a nod. Not bad, dwarf, though I'll admit, charging in like that kept us on our toes. Combat over. The area is now safe, with the kobold bodies scattered around. The unfinished spike trap sits nearby, and the tunnel stretches deeper into the mines. What does the group do next? Loot the kobolds, examine the area, or press forward?
We will loot the kobolds. Okay. I think I'll just take it as we see fit.
Loot results. Kobold 1, 4 copper coins, a crude amulet shaped like a lizard. Kobold 2, 4 copper coins, a rusty dagger.
4 copper
Kobold
coins for
Slinger,
Mars.
5 copper coins, nothing else of value. Kalen glances at the loot and smirks. They certainly don't hoard treasure, do they? At least it's something. What will the group do next? Inspect the area, check the kobold's weapons or trap setup, or move further into the tunnel?
Let's see, Kobold 2, 4 copper coins for Brock. Eight. And then 5 copper coins from the Slinger. Okay. Mars will tell the others. Quite a number of kobolds, and we haven't even reached the heart of the mine.
Time of day, late morning, around 11:30 a.m. Mars wipes his hands after searching the kobolds and looks at the others. That's quite a number of them already, and we haven't even reached the heart of the mines yet. Either there are more of them down there, or they've been guarding this place for a while. Kalen nods, her expression serious. If this many are on the outskirts, the deeper tunnels are bound to be worse. Traps, reinforcements, maybe something bigger. Thrain hefts his warhammer. Let them come. I'll smash them all. The tunnel ahead grows darker and steeper, with faint sounds of dripping water echoing from deeper within. Lareth glances at Mars. So, what's the move? We push forward now, or take a moment to check our surroundings for anything useful?
Or we can take a short rest.
What's the plan?
Brock is examining his very minor injury, but does ask the team, should we take a quick short rest here while we have some quiet?
Time of day, late morning, around 11:35 a.m. Brock looks down at the scrape on his shoulder, brushing it off with a grunt. It's nothing, but it wouldn't hurt to take a quick breather while it's quiet. What do you think? Short rest here, or keep moving? Kalen considers this, glancing at the darkened tunnel ahead. It's not a bad idea. If we've got worse waiting for us deeper in, we should be at full strength. But staying here too long might invite more trouble. Lareth nods. If we're resting, I'll keep watch. A short rest would let everyone recover and spend hit dice if needed. What does the group decide? Rest here for a bit or press on?
We'll rest here for a bit, 5 or so minutes.
Time of day, late morning, around 11:40 a.m. The group settles into the quiet tunnel, taking a brief moment to catch their breath and prepare for what lies ahead. Brock sits against the wall, inspecting his gear and shaking off the minor scrape. Kalen sharpens her daggers, while Lareth
Okay.
keeps a sharp eye on the path ahead. Mars uses the time to check his bowstring and scan for any additional threats. The air remains
12
still,
out of
with no
15.
signs of immediate
Okay.
danger during the short rest. After about 5 minutes, Kalen stands, her tone brisk. All right, that's long enough. Let's move before we overstay our welcome.
How much did we get
If
injured?
anyone needs to spend hit dice to recover HP during the rest, let me know, or confirm that everyone is ready to proceed.
Trying to find how much damage that dagger did, or that did the Brock. Okay, 3. So, oh no, it didn't work. Didn't heal. So 3. Okay, so I just gotta heal up to 3. Get back to normal. There we go. Okay. All right. I guess we'll close the session out here. This works because we took a short rest. So let's tell that to the DM. We'll close the session here. Let's compile the notes as usual and award XP as appropriate. So it's doing that. All
The
right,
session notes for Session 3 have been compiled. You
75 for
can
both.
download them using the link below. Download Campaign Notes Session 3, sandbox/Exeter Campaign Notes Session 3.txt. XP earned Mars 75 XP, Brock 75 XP. Let me know when you're ready to continue the adventure.
There we go. Okay, and that is it for today for session 3. Thank you for watching. I will download those session notes as usual, and we'll see you next time as we explore more of the mines.